now rocking with the best. Debates get hot, boy, I am so many fresh. I talk cash money like I'm Birdman. Tackle topic straight on, no swerving. All facts is what I'm serving. No one's better or more deserving than me. I bring that heat like Miami on a whole nother level like I'm Otani. I prove points by helping you visualize, using data that's analyzed by eagle eyes. Get your mind right and act like you know. You are now tuned into the Real Untouchable podcast.
Hey, what you do? Hey, what it do, Sports Weller? Welcome to the Real Untouchable podcast with me, Ray Diggs. I got a great segment for you all, man. I want to talk about the NFL draft and why I feel, and why I'm going to break it down for all of you all, why I feel that Shedeur Sanders slid down to the 5th round. Okay, man, before I get started, man, make sure you hit the like button, the subscribe button, and also the share button. Make sure y'all give me your feedback on what you all think about this segment. Now, I've been holding this segment right here for a week now, but I'm going to go ahead on and get it out the way now because I feel like this is the right time. I've been sitting back looking at all the comments. I've been sitting back watching everybody feel sorry for Shedeur Sanders, made his jersey the #1 selling jersey because they feel like he was done wrong, because they feel like an entitled kid that's been acting entitled his entire football career, has never been not a real starting quarterback, okay, had his jersey retired, something nobody else has ever done, had his jersey retired 2 weeks or 2 months after his last college game, but now everybody wants to feel sorry for him because he slid down to the 5th round. Okay, he was the 144th pick by the Cleveland Browns. Team after team pretty much passed up on this kid. Now, the last time I was on, I talked about Shedeur Sanders. I thought that he would be maybe at least a minimum, a top 10 draft pick. I said at least a top 25 draft pick. But I was talking to people and I just kept telling them, like, it wouldn't surprise me if he slid down to the 2nd round, because I just feel like that's where he was. If he was a 2nd round draft pick, I don't think nobody pretty much says anything. I think a lot of people that's pretty much speaking on his behalf feel like he's a top quarterback. But in the end, was he really better than Jalen Milroe? Okay. Was he really better than Jackson Dort? I feel like those two quarterbacks right there was two of the quarterbacks that I had already said that was possibly get drafted before him, because I feel like they played against better competition than him. So when I watched them two quarterbacks, I said, listen, you got to think about it. Alabama played against a Tennessee. Alabama played against an Ole Miss. They played against a Georgia. I don't think Colorado played against any team that was like that. And then just think about it. The SEC had half of the draft. Okay, the 1st round, pretty much 60% was from the SEC. Maybe even more than that. When we talk about 1st round draft pick. So that just tells you the type of competition that Jalen Milroe faced, the type of competition that Jackson Dort went up against. And also when you talk about Dylan Gabriel from Oregon, he was another one of those quarterbacks coming out of the Big Ten. So all of those quarterbacks went against better competition than Shedeur Sanders. But I'm going to tell y'all why I feel like Deion Sanders was the #1 reason why Shedeur Sanders failed. Do y'all remember when Deion Sanders was going on every last show talking about owners couldn't tell him about his son? Or when he was saying that they was going to pick where Shedeur was going to play at in certain cities that he was not going to let Shedeur play in? Do y'all not think that owners listen to that? Do y'all not think that owners take that into consideration when they're about to go ahead and draft their franchise quarterback? I don't think some of y'all really understand that this is not just a regular job. This is somebody that's about to go ahead and get handed keys to an entire franchise. This ain't just somebody that's going to just be, oh yeah, this right here is just a regular guy. No, this is the guy that you're about to go ahead and hand your franchise over to, that's your franchise quarterback. So you want them to be saying the right things. And the things that Deion Sanders and Shedeur Sanders was saying, Shedeur Sanders went to every last place you can think of. He was there, but he was not performing. Okay, he went to the combine just to do interviews. And he was so arrogant at these interviews, pretty much telling them, if you don't want to win, don't come and draft me. What type of young quarterback that pretty much says this? Okay, we get it that you are confident, but you can also, tone it down a little bit. You can also be humble. But see, this is what I don't understand about a lot of the black community. Okay, they love when somebody like that does that. Oh, he's confident. Oh, he's this. And then for a lot of people that don't even watch football, they were saying that, oh, well, what Deion did was nothing new than what Eli Manning did or what Archie Manning did to Eli. First of all, if you did your research, you would know Archie Manning didn't say nothing leading up to the draft. He waited until his son was the number one draft pick, and then he told the Chargers that his son will not play for them. So what did they have to do? They had to trade him to the Giants. So if you wait, if you're Deion Sanders, if you just keep your mouth closed, which I don't think you could do, if you just keep your mouth shut and then wait until your son is a top 15, top 10 draft pick, then you tell these teams like the Cleveland Browns, if they took him at number 2 instead of trading back, if they take him at number 2, you tell the Cleveland Browns, my son don't want to play for you, instead of not taking interviews with certain teams. Then when you go into interviews, you go into the interview and you basically just blow the interview. You go in there and you act like you're so much to where you don't have to perform in these interviews. And for everybody that's out there that's saying that, oh, why didn't they say this right here when before the draft? Why in the hell would a team tell you before the draft what a player comes in there in an interview and do? No, that's not the way this works. They do it after the interview. You do this after the interview. That's when you pretty much put out the post draft, analysis. That's what you do then. You pretty much tell them like, listen, this player right here came in. When have they ever told y'all before draft what a player did in an interview? But now y'all want them to do it for Shedeur Sanders. Okay, got it. But and then people saying that I had a friend on Facebook said that the Cleveland Browns, well, the Jacksonville Jaguars wanted to trade Trevor Lawrence for Shedeur Sanders. Let me tell you something. Anybody in their fucking right mind know that the Jacksonville Jaguars was not gonna ever trade Shedeur Sanders for Trevor Lawrence. That's like you trading a proven quarterback that you know what they can do for a quarterback that you don't even know what this dude can do. Like you don't even know what type of talent this dude is. You watch this dude play at division, like at Jackson State, and you watch him play in the Big 12 for 2 years, which you ain't really that sold on because they didn't win a lot of games. Okay, they won 8 games this year. Let's clap for him. Okay, yes. But he was 13-12 as a starter. So why would I trade a franchise quarterback that I know that's a franchise quarterback right now for a quarterback that I don't even know what I'm going to get out of this quarterback? And then when you think about Trevor Lawrence can do everything better than Shedeur Sanders. He can throw better. He can run better. He can also think better. Now, I'm not saying he's smarter than him, but he can think when it comes down to, where to put the ball to. Okay? 6'6" quarterback, 220 pounds. Why would I trade a 6'2" quarterback that can't run? I don't even know how strong his arm is for a quarterback that I already know what I got in Trevor Lawrence. It makes no sense. That's right there how I know when I seen that status on Facebook, I knew that whoever posted that was just trying to get clicks. I knew they was lying from the beginning. But anyway, that I feel like when Shedeur Sanders and Deion Sanders went around and making these comments, they rubbed owners the wrong way. And I think that the owners pretty much got together and said, fuck this guy. We're not going to draft this kid. We don't want him in our building. That is what I think the NFL owners did. And I'm happy that they did it. And I'm going to tell you why I'm happy that they did it. Because that's how you humble a quarterback. It ain't got nothing to do, oh, it's a black man. No, man, this is a black man right there. They want to humble him. No, this is what you do. You don't go to your employer and act like you are the boss. Okay? You're coming in. You're not at Colorado no more. You're not at Jackson State no more. You're in the NFL. You're a part of a team. Everybody that's in that locker room have a wife, a family. Most of them have wife, families, and they have a mortgage. Okay, these are grown men, so they're not gonna just bow down to you like they bow down to you when you was at Colorado. And that's the number one thing. Number two, why would I want somebody that is so arrogant that when you come in and you coming into these interviews and you're doing terrible interviews and everybody's mad because you dropped? Where in the hell in the world have you ever saw where a person do a bad interview and they still got the job? Tell me that. When have you ever saw that? I'll tell you what, for most of y'all on Facebook saying that he was done wrong, he did an interview, he did bad interviews. You go do a bad interview and you see, do you get the job? Or you bring your mother and your father to the job and think that they're gonna tell the owner what they will do. Because that's exactly what Deion Sanders was doing. Deion Sanders was pretty much telling these people what they was gonna do. And I think those owners saw that. And they didn't want to deal with Deion Sanders. The only team, and y'all can say, they can say what they want to say. The Cleveland Browns was, they jumped back up to get him. Listen, the Cleveland Browns had so many chances to get Shedeur Sanders, and they passed on it. Yes, they traded a few picks to come back up in the 5th round to take him, but I don't think the Cleveland Browns really wanted Shedeur Sanders. I think this right here was an ownership, just like the Johnny Manziel draft. I think that's right here was on ownership. I think the ownership made them, which was the head coach and the GM, go back down and take Shedeur Sanders. Okay. Yes, he's out here showing y'all running up a hill repeat. I want to know when the hell have I seen a quarterback do hill repeat? Okay. I'm gonna tell y'all what he did. He went out there with a cameraman, did a few run up the hills, had his cameraman to record. Because he know what the world is gonna do. One thing about Deion Sanders know how to get the black community on his side. He's just like Shannon Sharp. Okay, they know how to get the black community on their side. So this is what he did. He went out there, got a cameraman, told him to record him a few, so they can put on social media and say, "Oh man, look, Shedeur is working. He's already working." Listen, man, you ain't getting better by running up no damn hill as no quarterback. First of all, quarterbacks need to be working on throwing. Now, if you recorded something of you throwing the football to somebody, yes, we see, okay, we should do out here grinding. He getting better. He throwing it to some wide out. But jumping up a damn hill, that ain't got nothing to do with you getting better. Okay. And number 2, now you're going to high school. Okay. Now you know what I'm gonna tell you. He want to be a fan favorite. He wants to get the fan on his side. Okay. Because being a 5th round draft pick will humble you. Okay. Let's be real. It will humble you. And I think that's what these owners did. They told that they pretty much said that they wouldn't draft him until the later rounds. And that's exactly what they did, because they wanted to humble him and they wanted to humble Deion Sanders. And I'm going to tell you what that did. That humbled both of them, because now they know the NFL, and Deion Sanders knew this. Deion Sanders knew this because he played in the NFL. He played at the highest level. So he understood this. The NFL don't need you. The NFL don't need your son. You're not going to come and tell me what I am going to do with my organization. Just one player. If Tom Brady didn't do it, if Patrick Mahomes didn't do it, if Joe Montana didn't do it, Dan Marino didn't do it, what the hell make you think your son can do it? And that's right there exactly what I think that they did for Deion Sanders. And I'm happy that they did, because he needed to be knocked off his high horse. And I know a lot of people are going to come on here bashing me. I'm talking down on the black man. No, I'm just being real with y'all. I'm being honest with y'all. And that's what y'all don't want. Okay. But when the hell have you ever heard of a quarterback or an employee going and telling their employer what they are going to do and on how are they going to do it? You know what I'm saying? And that's why I think Shedeur Sanders failed. Like I said, if you a modern citizen, if you come into these interviews and you do what you're supposed to do, you don't have to say nothing else. You don't have to talk. You're going to be a top player regardless. Those scouts, they remember who's respectful, who comes in here and take care of business. They see that. And if you come up in there being arrogant as a rookie, they already know what type of player you are. Learn the damn playbook, get better, and then that's going to speak for yourself. If you can play, you can play. I said this right here from the beginning. If Shedeur Sanders can play, hey, he's going to be on the field. But I keep telling y'all, I say what his stats say. He ain't it. He's a good backup quarterback at best. But how can I say that this kid is a great quarterback when I've never seen him go through no adversity? As a matter of fact, make sure y'all tune into the next episode. I'm gonna break down every last African-American quarterback in the NFL and the adversity that they went through. And then I'm gonna tell you all about Shedeur Sanders and how ever since high school, hell, it maybe goes back to junior high. I couldn't even research that much. But from high school all the way through right now, Shedeur Sanders has never, ever beat out another quarterback. I can talk about every last African-American quarterback in the NFL right now. and the adversity that they went through, they all have beat out at least another quarterback, or they have to sit behind another quarterback and wait their time. That is the only quarterback, and that's right there why I just don't know. I don't know if he can beat out Dylan Gabriel. I'm just being honest with you. I don't know if he can beat out Dylan Gabriel, because one thing about Dylan Gabriel is this: yes, he don't have the strongest arm. He can run. He's accurate just enough to where he can possibly win that. I'm not saying he can win the starting position, because I think Joe Flacco is going to win the starting position. But I think that him and Kenny Pickett can beat out Shedeur Sanders when it comes down to the second string quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. But like I told y'all before I get off, Deion Sanders and Shedeur Sanders ruined Shedeur Sanders' draft stock. It wasn't a scout. It wasn't a head coach. It was those two people that ruined his draft stock. Because you cannot just go into interviews and think you can bum an interview because you already so-called got yourself as a top 5 pick. Ain't nothing. I'm going to tell you something. And then I'm going to tell y'all this right here. If Shedeur Sanders was really that good, one thing about the NFL is this: if you're that good, they'll still put up with your BS. Look at Antonio Brown. They put up with so much of his BS because he was what? Performing at a high level. Same thing with Caleb Williams just last year. Caleb Williams didn't go out there and throw. Sorry. Caleb Williams didn't go out there and throw not one pass. But guess what he did? He still went number 1. Because you want to know why? Because they knew that he could ball. They knew that he could play. If you can play and they look at you as a franchise quarterback, then guess what? They don't give a damn. They will put up with your bullshit. They will put up with your dad's BS. That's the way it works in the NFL. Matter of fact, that's the way it works in sports, period. So if Shedeur Sanders was that good and they saw him as a franchise quarterback, I guarantee you they would not have let him stay in that draft until the 5th round. That just tells me one thing, that the NFL, the head coaches, and the owners saw the same thing that I've been seeing. I see a regular quarterback that could possibly be a starter, but the chances of him being a backup is greater than for him to be a starter in the NFL. And I know y'all don't want to hear that. That's why y'all going out buying his jersey, making his jersey the number 1 selling jersey. And I'm going to tell you what really got me, man, is that y'all support him, but y'all got all these young black quarterbacks, all these young black players at the top of the draft, which was the number 1 draft pick, Cam Ward, a young black man that came from nothing, came from the bottom as a 0-star prospect. Travis Hunter, same thing. He went to Jackson State, transferred over, win the Biletnikoff Award, also winning the Heisman Trophy, the number 2 pick, the number 3 pick, Abdul Carter. I'm talking about came from nothing. Okay, young black man from Philadelphia. Now he's down there, playing for the New York Giants. But y'all want to sit here and y'all want to feel sorry for a quarterback that's entitlement caused him to walk into those interviews and do what he did, say what he said. You see what I'm saying? He go out here, he come every chance he get, he's opening up his mouth. Y'all know who my daddy is? Yeah, we know who your father is. And see, before I get off here, I just want to say this one last thing. Shedeur Sanders is Deion Sanders' son. He is his daddy's son, but he ain't got his daddy's talent. See, Deion Sanders could have done the same thing that Shedeur Sanders did, come in there, bum interviews, but because Deion Sanders was so talented, it didn't matter what he did. It didn't matter, because guess what? He was already pretty much, with the talent that he got, he was already pretty much tabbed. Boom. He can't miss prospect. He's guaranteed to be in that top 5. And that's exactly why Deion Sanders was a top 5 draft pick. It was no doubt. It was a no-brainer. And for Malik Neighbors and all the rest of y'all that's out here crying and whining about him, listen, if you go into your interview and do the same thing that he did, guess what? I bet your ass wouldn't be in New York right now. You probably would have been in the 2nd round or 3rd round as well. But you went in that interview and you did what you were supposed to do. So why don't y'all hold him to the same exact same standard that y'all hold yourself to? That's the crazy part. Y'all hold him to a lower standard than you hold yourself to. And that is the reason why Shedeur Sanders was a 5th round draft pick. I wish the kid nothing but the best. But I can tell y'all this. I can see right now that the Cleveland Browns will most likely be in the 1st round, somewhere in the top 10, maybe even top 5 next year for another quarterback. Because I think next year draft class quarterback will be even better than this. I mean, I think this right here was one of the weakest quarterbacks class I've seen in a long time. But the next year's class with Cade Kupnick and probably most likely Arch Manning and Sellers from South Carolina, I think next year's quarterback class is going to be a really good quarterback class. So I think the Cleveland Browns most likely, I think they pretty much see the writing on the wall. They most likely will be in the possibility of trying to find themselves another franchise quarterback in the next year's draft. But y'all let me know what y'all think. Until next time, y'all, make sure y'all tune in to the next episode of the Real Untouchable Podcast. I will be coming back at you. Hey, until next time, y'all have a great Friday night. Peace.